The war on drugs in Venezuela is intensifying. Instead of symbolic shows of force, the United States. Operations now rely on precision strikes from drones, satellite-guided missiles, elite special forces raids, and now the mother of all bombs that leaves destruction in its wake. Cartel compounds once thought untouchable are being wiped out in coordinated assaults. Section 1. The MOAB's combat debut. The United States military made history when it used the most powerful conventional bomb in its arsenal for the first time in combat. The weapon was the GBU-43, also known as the Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb. Many people called it the mother of all bombs because of its huge size and destructive power. Weighing over 21,000 pounds, the bomb was carefully pushed out of the back of a U.S. Air Force MC-130 Special Operations aircraft. The massive plane was flying over Afghanistan's eastern Nangarhar province. When the order was given to strike, the target was a network of tunnels and caves in the Aachen district, a stronghold for ISIS-K, the branch of the Islamic State group operating in Afghanistan. When the MOAB detonated, the results were devastating. According to U.S. military officials, the explosion killed at least 94 ISIS fighters. The blast was so powerful that it shook the entire region. The use of the MOAB caught the world's attention, with newspapers, television channels, and online outlets around the globe reporting on the bombing. Now, imagine what would happen if the same kind of firepower were directed at powerful drug cartels. Instead of ISIS, these criminal groups often build hidden labs, warehouses, and secret tunnels, much like terrorist organizations. A single strike with a weapon like the MOAB could wipe out a massive drug production site in seconds. Section 2. MOAB versus MOP. Understanding the difference. When people talk about the mother of all bombs, it often gets confused with another monster in America's arsenal, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. But these two weapons, while both huge and terrifying, are very different in design, purpose, and use on the battlefield. Todd Harrison, a defense budget expert at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C., described the MOAB as a crash project after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. The United States found itself facing Al-Qaeda and the Taliban on unfamiliar terrain in Afghanistan. What makes the MOAB outstanding is that it's all about creating a massive air blast. As its name suggests, it's meant to explode above ground or just on softer surfaces such as cave entrances or tunnel systems. The key here is that it doesn't have to burrow deep. Instead, it spreads its destructive power across a wide radius, flattening anything caught in the blast zone. On the other hand, the MOP is the Air Force's true bunker buster. This weapon was built to dig through reinforced concrete and earth to destroy hidden command posts, underground shelters, and other hardened structures. In terms of sheer size, the MOAB is gigantic, tipping the scales at nearly 22,000 pounds. But the MOP is even bigger, weighing in at around 33,000 pounds. Yet weight alone doesn't tell the whole story. What makes the MOAB so infamous is its payload, packed. With nearly 18,000 pounds of high explosives, it creates a blast equal to roughly 11 tons of TNT. In comparison, the MOP's warhead carries just over 5,000 pounds of explosives, less than a third of the MOAB's punch. Section 3. The surprisingly low price tag. When the Air Force dropped the mother of all bombs in Afghanistan, many people immediately wondered about the price tag of such a massive weapon. Surprisingly, the cost of one MOAB is far lower than most advanced missiles. According to the Air Force, each bomb is valued at around $170,000. For a weapon weighing more than 21,000 pounds and unleashing the force of 11 tons of TNT, that figure sounds almost like a bargain. But there's a catch. That price is not a modern production cost. It's a historical estimate from the mid-2000s. Much of the MOAB's cost was based on spare materials that were already available, such as the bombs, casing, and metals. In short, it was pieced together from what the Air Force had on hand, not manufactured through a large-scale contract. Because of this, The MOAB does not have a standard price. In Pentagon budget documents, one of the most crucial parts of the weapon is its grid fin technology, which allows the bomb to steer itself with surprising accuracy. These lattice-style fins can guide the bomb to within less than 8 meters of its intended target, remarkable for a weapon of its size. The Pentagon brought in Dynetics Incorporated, a Huntsville, Alabama-based defense company, to help design this feature. Section 4. The psychological weapon. Retired Air Force General T. Michael Buzz Mosley explained that the MOAB was designed for wide area effects, both physically and mentally. The sheer blast effect makes it devastating on the battlefield, but it also delivers a powerful message to anyone watching. It tells opponents and even allies that the U.S. is willing to unleash unprecedented force when needed. Todd Harrison emphasized that the bomb's very existence sends a signal. Developing and fielding it quickly showed potential adversaries that the U.S. was willing to innovate rapidly when faced with new threats. The idea that America could build such a massive weapon in-house, practically on the fly, complicates enemy decision-making and forces them to think twice. For military enthusiasts, both the MOAB and MOP represent the extremes of conventional warfare. The MOAB is a psychological weapon as much as it is a physical one. Its detonation shakes not just the ground, but also the confidence of anyone on the receiving end. Section 5. Limited supply and strategic use. Despite its dramatic first use, there were many questions about whether the MOAB would be used often in future conflicts. One issue was cost. While $170,000 is not as expensive as some advanced missiles, experts pointed out that other weapons could deliver similar or even greater explosive force. For an example, a single B-52 bomber can carry a payload of bombs that together equal or exceed the power of one MOAB. Another problem was supply. The Air Force has only a limited number of these bombs, around 15 in the current stockpile. They were built in the early 2000s using spare parts and assembled specifically for the war in Afghanistan. Because of this, the US cannot easily replace them if the stockpile is used up. This means commanders will likely save them for only very special missions. Section 6. Why use the MOAB against cartels? The US military's choice to use such a massive bomb wasn't random. Timing played a major role. According to retired General T. Michael Mosley, the decision may have come down to the situation on the ground, when all conditions were finally ready for the MOAB to make the biggest impact. For the caves and underground drug labs hidden deep within cartel territory, the MOAB seemed to be the ideal choice. Its blast penetrates deep into the earth, collapsing tunnels and wiping out hidden operations that smaller bombs might miss. This move also sent a psychological message. Dropping the MOAB would not be just about destroying a target. It was about showing cartels and the world that America has weapons they cannot possibly match. The nickname alone, Mother of All Bombs, creates an image of unstoppable force, spreading fear even before it detonates. The US military has long believed that overwhelming power can break the spirit of its opponents, and the MOAB fit that belief perfectly. Section 7. The Cartel Challenge. For the cartels, the challenge is now clear. They have long relied on secrecy, tunnels, and hidden labs to protect their empire. But with the MOAB in play, those defenses seem fragile. No bunker is too deep. Number. Tunnel too safe when a weapon designed for military warfare comes crashing down on them. Critics argue that smaller, more precise strikes could have done the job without the massive display. Supporters counter that the MOAB would not only destroy the target, but also send a clear message that future cartel expansions into underground networks would not survive. The real question is whether cartels can adapt quickly enough, or if this marks the beginning of a new phase where their underground world is no longer untouchable. Call to action. Do you think using military-grade weapons like the MOAB against drug cartels is justified? Or does it cross a line? What impact would this level of force have on the war on drugs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more coverage on military operations and global security.